Hey, everybody, and welcome to another XP Network Spotlight live stream. I'm here with Marcus Vine, Marketing and Community Lead, and Jay Casper from U.S. Events and Trade Team for Warlord Games. As usual, don't forget to scan the QR code below to get your 50 bonus XP for joining the live stream. If you haven't already signed up for the event, go to xpnetwork.com. It is the main event on the front page. Sign up for the event so you can scan that. And at the end of the chat today, we're going to do a 500 bonus XP wheel spin for one lucky winner. So, and final reminder here, before I cut over to what XP Network is, put your Q&A in the chat. We usually don't remind you at the beginning, but you have lots of time to ask questions about XP Network and Warlord games and their organized play, and new releases, and things that they can talk about. You probably know what they can't talk about. If you ask, they'll just say they can't talk about it. So I'm going to go into what is XP Network. If you're here for the first time, we are a rewards platform for everything gaming. So come in, get achievements, play casual play, tournament play, get your friends together and earn XP. Get your achievements on your profile, and you can use that in-store credit on the Warlord Games official page on XP Network or at your local hobby shops. If your hobby shop doesn't have XP Network yet, tell them to join so you can get your loyalty points and your rewards for going to your local store and participating in your community. Don't forget to sign up for Pong of Champions. This is our mobile game on the Apple App Store, coming to Android soon. If you sign up and link your XP account, you'll get 3,000 bonus XP for a limited time. Make sure to check out your member profile, check out your achievements. You will get an achievement for signing up for this event. You'll get a bonus achievement for scanning the QR code below. Get your news and notifications, check out your events, follow your tournaments, get ticketing, and don't forget, we have In the Wild. So if you ever see us in the wild, you may be able to scan us. We have little QR codes, and you'll get bonus XP. Coming soon to XP Network are the community pages and the leagues and leaderboards. We're very excited about leagues and leaderboards. This means you can do your local leagues or your official leagues through your platform, through your groups, and through your publishers officially. The wallet is live, so you can now see the XP Network wallet. I think Warlord Games is still being added to the Shopify store for that, and then you'll see your Warlord points on the Warlord wallet in your profile. So without further ado, guys, tell me about Warlord Games. Who are you? What do you do?
Hi, so my name's Marcus. I am the marketing and community lead at Warlord Games, which is a really vague job title for loads of different hats that I wear. So my day-to-day, obviously I'm part of the marketing team, and we're obviously responsible for talking to our customers, talking to our community. In my case, that looks like a lot of writing articles. I manage the community site, which is where you can read all of our articles. It's kind of our digital magazine. I also am very lucky to be involved in the development and rules writing side of Bolt Action, our biggest game. I helped on the development of Conflict 47, which was awesome recently, and I've previously been head of our organised and competitive play program as well. So lots of hats, but at the end of the day, my job is helping people have fun with toy soldiers, which is the coolest job in the world. For anyone that doesn't know Warlord Games, so we're from Nottingham, England, home of miniature wargaming, really, the spiritual home. We were founded 18 years ago by John Stallard and the very dearly missed Paul Sawyer. And we were founded originally as a historical miniatures company to bring historical wargaming to everyone. Previously it had been a very niche thing, something that wasn't really dealt with by any major companies. So we started out with some plastic Romans way back. And from there, it's absolutely ballooned. Our ranges now cover wargaming from biblical and ancient era, the Bronze Age, all the way through to the Second World War, and obviously with Conflict 47, which we've just released a new edition of, even sort of beyond and into the weird war territory. So, yeah, really, if it's historical miniatures, then we'll do it, or we'll do something around that time period.
I'm Jay, and I work with Warlord doing trade sales and events, work on the U.S. events team, go around the country, do big conventions like Adepticon, LVO, you name it, we're probably have some kind of footprint there. So I'm with that team right there.
I'd say one of the things I think is really exciting to be here. One of the great things about being in the marketing side of the war games industry is I get to spend all day talking to like-minded war gamers. But obviously, of course, because I do a lot of it through articles and things like that, it's really nice change of pace, really refreshing to get the opportunity to talk to people sort of directly like this. Obviously, thank you to everyone that's watching. Can't wait to kind of get some questions in. Hopefully, it'll all be nice to me. Yeah, it's also really great to sort of talk to more of our North American community, because the stuff that's going on over there is super cool. Obviously, North American wargaming is a really cool ecosystem, and it's something that has often been considered a little bit different from what you see over in Europe and in the UK. And different's cool, different's great. We love it, and what we want to do is kind of A, show that love, but B, you know, find ways to help that community grow, find ways to make our games and our products more accessible to more people over there, and show everyone that might be on the fence why historical wargaming is so much fun.
That's awesome. So, and shout outs to Shall We Play Games here in Las Vegas. They have an awesome Warlord community. I think they play like every single one of your games. And I've had the honor to meet their head of organization. I think it's also Jay down at Shall We Play.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And then, yeah, the Las Vegas Open. Like, you guys are really a great presence here in Vegas. I'm sure that's the same in a lot of communities around North America. And we're really honored to be part of your new organized play system and help reward your organizers for doing these volunteer jobs that are really building communities for your games. So tell me, what do you guys think so far about XP Network? How are we going to be able to help you guys grow?
I think one of the things, and I think you touched on it really well there, is, rewarding and supporting organizers in the community, because the lifeblood of a competitive gaming community, obviously on the one hand you've got the players, because if nobody's playing then there aren't any games, but the organizers, it's those people that go, actually I am going to give up my time and my labor to put on a really great event for my community. They're so crucial to any game, that being that provider. Because as much as we'd love to be, we can't physically be in, every single city and every single town every weekend running awesome events. So people in the community do an amazing job of picking up that baton and helping people just have fun with the things that we produce. And it's the same with trade accounts, stores as well. So often, especially in America, North America, the local gaming store is the lifeblood of a wargaming community, because they're the guys with the space, they're the guys with the tables and the terrain, they're the people with the product, they're where you go. And because the distance is involved, it's a little bit different over here, where it's you see more clubs, and you might just drive to a different city in a morning to go and play. I understand the US is quite large, so you don't necessarily get to do that all the time. So yeah, being able to make their lives easier in terms of organization, having things in one place is really cool. And also being able to, reward them and, show that it's not just, the love of the game and our appreciation, which I will reiterate is undying. We absolutely love what our community organizers do, and we'll take every opportunity to celebrate them and champion them. But to reward them in a different way, in another way, is just a really cool thing. And also just making events accessible to more people. Being able to just look up and go online and go, oh, sweet. In the next 3 months, I've got 5 events within a traveling radius of me. Let's have a look at what these events look like. Which ones do I want to play? Which ones have I already got an army for? Which ones am I going to need to do some painting for? And it really helps you. I mean, a lot of times tournaments are kind of the milestones and the beats in a competitive or in any wargamers sort of year. You go, right, I'm going to go to these 2 big ones, I'm going to go to these 3 or 4 at my local store, and then maybe I'm going to go and travel a fair distance, to see some friends, or to see, for a different kind of event. And being able to actually see that in a really well laid out place and plan what you're going to be doing gaming wise super useful. And the easier you make something, more people will do it. I think it's a huge growth tool.
I really
Yeah.
like the way you guys have dived into the organized play side of XP Network and how you're taking full control of your organizers and really taking accountability for that. And I also like that we can promote your non-competitive games because, like, not every game's the tournament, not everything's a full day event, but you can have a painting evening and still give away an achievement. You can have a demo day and still give away achievements to your organizers. So we're really excited about that, and I love the way you guys are setting up the back end of the system to roll out organized play. It's cool stuff.
Actually,
Jay, you were about to say something.
I was talking to a store today about not really even events as far as like tournaments and stuff, but just kind of different things like the paint and take, like paint night. You can advertise there. Everything's all in one spot, and I think that's the biggest game changer uh, for XP is having everything your road path, laid out for you, and just going to say, okay, I'm going to do this event, just like Marcus was saying. I'm going to do this event here and that event there, and just having them all in one area, especially, categorized by, what I like to play or something. Looking for those events that I like to play and where they're at and stuff like that. I think that's a game changer right there.
Absolutely, and I think
If you haven't already, I'm going to do a big plug for you guys. If you haven't already, follow Warlord Games on XP Network because you're going to get all their news and updates, and follow your local hobby shop. If you don't already have your local hobby shop that stocks Warlord signed up for XP Network, get them to sign up because then you're going to get all their news and notifications for their events. And like Jay was saying, a painting evening or a demo night or a tournament, you'll get your local and your big events through XP Network. So this is cool stuff.
I think that it's also a really crucial thing for both, players that might be on the fence about jumping into what we do, and also for retailers, that might be kind of curious about jumping on board with, say, with Conflict that's just come out and is making a lot of noise. Being able to look at something like XP Network and see, we've got a whole bunch of events going on, all over the country. There's a whole myriad of different events. It's not just tournaments. It's not just demo days. It's not just whatever. It's this whole varied network. It really gives people confidence that they're not taking a risk by investing in a bunch of models that they might not be able to find anyone to play with. It just shows, hey, I don't have to worry about am I going to be awkward walking into a gaming store that I've not been to before and asking guys, does anyone play Bolt Action? I'm kind of new in town or whatever. That, oh wow, I can see they've had 6 Bolt Action events in the last year. Sweet, there must be a group. I'm going to walk in and go, yo, who's your guy who deals with Bolt Action? And it just means that you can kind of approach it with more confidence. And it means that you can have that little bit of reassurance that there is a really great community out there. Because it's one of the things I think is our biggest strength as a business. One of those is just our community. Such a fantastic group of people around us that like what we're doing, and in return we love what they're doing with the things we make, and it's really great to be able to introduce people to that, and also to bring because obviously big places, the world, some quite disparate aspects of that community together, which is where I think big international events are great. You get people coming from all over the world to things like the World Team Championships, which is going to be in Denmark next year for Bolt Action, or from all over the States to something like LVO or Adepticon. But also being able to see that digitally, I think that's super important as well because it makes it so accessible to so many more people.
Being able to look at what other people played at certain tournaments is going to be huge. That even on our store, we're going to build it out to say a grand prize winner at the national team tournament. We'll have his list in the store, and you can buy the bundle of his list. Something like that. Where if you really want to be competitive, this is what the top guy in the world played. You can buy that.
There's definitely so many great opportunities. And I think that's the really key point for sort of from our point of view. We're looking at this and we're seeing loads of great potential, loads of great possibilities. It's just deciding where to go first. Obviously, competitive and organised play, I think, is a really nice jumping off point because that's the thing that I think requires the most back end structure in a lot of ways. So if you build the back end for that, you end up with something that works really well for a load of other things. So I think that, and it's been really cool to see all the kind of things that you guys have been demoing and showing off, and all the top secret stuff that's in the works.
There's a lot of cool top secret stuff, and we do custom builds for every one of our publishing partners if they need a specific thing for their organized play. So we're always looking to make sure that the game is represented properly. And if you guys are ready, we have our Q&A lined up here. I got our first question. So someone, I don't know who the player was, just had a Conflict 47 game at their local store, Gamers Haven. The Commonwealth Bombardier AMP was a massive surprise how effective it was. Do y'all have your own favorite sleeper units that are surprisingly good?
Yeah, I'll let Jay take this one first, because I've got one, but I need to work out how to explain it without giving the game away completely, because I want people to experience it themselves.
So I do have a sleeper unit. It's actually not a sleeper unit. It's just my favorite unit is the Shrek Wolfen. Shrek Wolfen are massive werewolves that just run across the table, don't take any damage, and just eat up everything they touch. So yeah, I love the Shrek Wolfen. That's my favorite.
I think for me, I kind of ummed and ahed, because there's one that's sort of a really obvious rifty one, but my sleeper pick is basic infantry. And this is a game, Conflict 47 is a game of heroes, horrors, monsters, and mechs. And you get your basic infantry that have come in from bolt action. You think, these are just dudes with rifles. What's going on here? But it's all the stuff you can do with them with conflict weaponry. And, giving them these new weird weapons. And one of the things I will say is that Imperial Japan, the Empire of Japan, go and look at their basic infantry and see some of the stuff that you can do with them. And the same with the British Commonwealth. Go and look at their basic infantry. And with just a couple of little conflict tweaks, you get a unit that doesn't cost very much. And your opponent's not necessarily going to look at it or divert very many resources to destroying it, because they're worried about whatever big scary thing, your automated infantry or, your Shrek Wolfen.
Yeah.
But when you pop it off, you go, hang on a minute, those are just basic dudes. They can't. Oh God, they can. It's great. Absolutely great feeling.
And they're not typically your number one target either, so they get
exactly.
All right, next question. Any plans to do anything with Inuit-related tribes, like between tribes and explorers?
Honestly, I don't know. It's certainly not something I've seen in our sort of longer-term plans. But by the same token, I'd say, we never say never to anything. We always look at stuff and go, right, here's our plans for the next X years ahead. After that, we've still got the entire human history, and of course beyond, that we can wargame. So no plans that I'm aware of at the moment, but never say never. And that's kind of the answer for any, will you do this period?
You kind of hinted at it a second ago, but Conflict 47 is totally compatible with most of the bolt action, right? It's just a different rule set, and then you have new units.
Yeah, absolutely. It was something that we were really keen to build in right at the start, because the original version of Conflict 47 was almost more of an expansion to bolt action. We knew that a load of people would have Conflict 47 armies that had kind of this high proportion of bolt action units. And what we didn't want to do was just invalidate people's collections overnight. That was one of the really important things to us when we sat down and, the first sort of, what is Conflict 47 going to be? But also what we didn't want to do was end up with army lists that were, this is just bolt action again. So there's a mechanic built into Conflict 47 where you can bring any unit from bolt action into Conflict. Because the games are built on essentially the same engine, the basic stat line is completely compatible. And what that means is that you can just go, yes, this German Firefly or Centurion from Korea, or, a particular unit of German infantry. Perhaps you really desperately want your Cossack cavalry in German service on the Conflict tabletop. You can bring them because their special rules will come over from bolt action. Now, what that doesn't mean is, conflict, you can just play with action units, because it is still Conflict 47. So you still have to have your mandatory Conflict 47 units, which in fairness isn't very many. And a lot of those units, you'll find they don't bring over like their own old national special rules from bolt action. They don't get the full range of Conflict 47 special rules, because the intent is very much, these guys are a thing you can bring if you want to. They're a supplement. They're a way to make your force completely unique. They're a way to ensure your old force is still compatible. But we're not going to accidentally break the game with a bolt action army. That was one of the things we play tested quite a lot. Was, okay, we've built a really good conflict army. Now let's run it against a pure bolt action, pure competitive list. And this just horrendous, and multiple multi-launchers, multiple light tanks with light autocannons, comped out bolt action list, beat an average Conflict 47 list. Because that's not a game we want. You don't want to bring a bunch of monsters and have them get stomped by a bunch of stuff from 1941. And I think, to be honest, it's one where we've got the balance just right. It's good. It's quite an elegant little system, which you just bring it.
You kind of led into that. So Bolt Action is the World War II game. Conflict 47 is like an alternate reality 1947, same universe, but alternate universe.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, Conflict 47, in very brief, is the game of heroes, horrors, monsters, and mechs. The précis is, when the United States are developing the Manhattan Project, the atomic bomb, their first atomic bomb test opens a rift, tears a rift in reality. And the energy and the power of that rift basically enormously advances what's possible in human science and human technology. And obviously that starts to take things in very different ways in America, both in terms of society, but also in terms of militarily. Now, in 1944, they don't drop a nuclear weapon on Hiroshima or Nagasaki. They actually drop it on Dresden in Germany. And when they drop it, that opens a second rift. So suddenly, the Germans have access to rift technology. Now, in the background of all of this, there is an organization in Germany called the Green Vault. It's a secret society in the most classical sense, this cabal, but must have been doing something behind the scenes for a whole lot of time, because very shortly after that bomb drops, the old Nazi regime is toppled from within, and the Green Vault step forward into the light of the rifts, ready to take best advantage of it and keep the war going. So you suddenly see it's no longer Germany, it's now the Axis. So that's, the German-aligned Italian states. That's those other minor Axis powers in the Second World War. And they're now under direct rule from this group of individuals who are very keen to use the powers of the Rift to win the war. And then obviously you have the exchange of technology from America to the Commonwealth, from the Axis to Japan, which kind of leaves the Soviet Union out in the cold, because nobody's sharing anything with them, and Comrade Stalin isn't particularly happy about that. What that means is obviously the Soviets are like, right, well, by hook or by crook, we're going to get some too, and that a lot of spying goes on, a lot of just theft and capturing goes on. Suddenly, the Soviets have got rift tech of their own. But what everyone is doing now is the war has kind of gone, deep breath, and now it's on. It's really on, and weapons being used have become so much more destructive, and the things that people and governments are willing to do to win and advance have gotten so much darker that it's not really war anymore. It's the end. It is the end of the world. It's the end of everything. But we're fighting battles in this absolute carnage that is powered by these rifts that nobody really will admit to, knowing what the limits of them are. Nobody knows or nobody says. And what that means from a gamer's point of view is you've got a World War II background, which obviously has been really popular with bolt action. And World War II is just endless storytelling on the tabletop. You take that grounding in history with our experience making historical games. And then you get our designers have the freedom to let their imaginations run wild with things that would actually fit in with this absolute nightmare of a war. So that's where you get your Shrek Wolf, which are these giant rift-enhanced werewolf monsters. The Axis have the Ursus, which are kind of similar, but they are bears. Sorry, the Soviets have the Ursus, which are kind of similar, but they're bears. But then you get, obviously, the British Commonwealth going down the automation route with rudimentary artificial intelligence, these tin Tommies. The Japanese leaning into amazing technology. Everyone's developing in their own direction. The United States bringing in the Fireflies and the linebackers, really dialing their jump troops up to 11, and the Tesla weaponry. They're kind of going, oh, well, Nikola Tesla made all of these weird death ray devices, but they never work, obviously. Oh, turns out all you needed was a little bit of rift tech, and the death ray is real. And that's a really
great writing team for all this.
Oh, it's been super awesome to be just around and involved in certain parts of that. It's been a really, really quality team effort, and it's not just the writing team, I'd say. From the Steph Kapinski artwork has been absolutely instrumental in setting the tone of Conflict 47. You've got John Heaney and Marco Sano sculpting the miniatures, doing an absolutely incredible job with them. And it's also reflected in the rules as well, actually, that, the team behind this, it's all feeding a key point of Conflict 47 is the game of heroes, horrors, monsters, and mechs. And this is not war. This is the end. Everything feeds into that. It's the writing, the rules, the artwork, the models. It's not just some rules and some models. It is its own universe. And honestly, I could talk about it for hours because I'm just so excited to see how it grows and how it develops, and also what directions the community takes it in. We're already starting to see people doing really cool stuff with it.
It's super cool stuff. I've got 2 more questions for you before the wheel spin. For Conflict 47, bringing sci-fi-like weapons and upgrades to the beautiful new V3 bolt-action plastic kits. They want to know, is there an intention for upgrade packs?
I think that's one that I can't necessarily discuss in specifics. There is some super cool stuff planned, just in terms of Conflict releases generally. I don't want to spoil the surprise there. So what I would say is, for getting obviously to know about Conflict and crossovers with Bolt Action, because I actually just published an article on the community site about Bolt Action crossing over into Conflict. Follow the Warlord Games newsletter. If you dive onto our website, warlordgames.com, onto the web store, scroll down, you'll see the sign up for the newsletter field. And that, every Wednesday, every Friday, we send you obviously all the latest release news and all that cool stuff, but it's also where we put all of the articles that we put out. And at the minute, it's one of the things we've been talking about quite a bit, actually, is how can I make my Bolt Action stuff look really Conflict? So while you wait for all the awesome new releases, I'd say go and check that out and give that a read.
All right, last question, and then we'll get into the wheel spin. Have you guys ever had any sort of collaboration with a brand like Doctor Who or something along those lines?
Yeah, so, no, absolutely. So we did previously have the BBC license for Doctor Who, and we produced the official miniatures game for that for a number of years. That was really, really cool. That was an awesome thing, to be involved with, to work on an IP so universally beloved and world renowned. We also do a lot of work, and have done a lot of work in the past with 2000 AD, which is an absolutely legendary British comic franchise and publishing house. So that's where things like Judge Dredd, Strontium, Dog, ABC Warriors have come in. So yeah, there's been those collaborations in the past, and it's been really cool, to take what we know about designing miniatures and designing games, and take these iconic characters that are such a big part of so many people's childhoods and adulthoods, let's be honest, and then realize them in miniature on the tabletop. So yeah, we've done that in the past. We still do that to an extent. It's super cool.
Yeah, before the stream, we were talking about 90% of tabletop wargaming is talking about tabletop wargaming. I think that's if you haven't played in the hobby, if you're watching this and you're thinking about getting into a war game, check out Warlord games for sure. And it is, the community is way different than a lot of other games because you're a hobby too. So you're painting, you're learning, you're building your own kits and upgrading your own models. And it's just, that's a lot of the time you spend is talking while you're painting and assembling. It's a really cool hobby. I've played tabletop war games for years. I have tons and tons and tons of bolt action. I'm really excited to get into Conflict 47. So, and if you haven't signed up now, the wheel spin is coming. So if you haven't signed up and scanned, you do not have the chance to get that 500 bonus XP. I'll give you guys like 30 more seconds, and then we'll get into that. But yeah, guys, in the meantime, thank you so much for joining us. I know that the time zone change is a little rough on Nottingham, England for this time. So thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get into the wheel spin. I guess we'll do it about right now. So I can't actually see the screen. So like usual, I'm going to ding, 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 and pretend like I can see it and see who wins. So in 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's spin the wheel. Ding, 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 ding. And it probably stopped. I don't know. Chat or director, tell me what we have here. Who's our winner? Shane's typing. The winner for today's stream is DM Greg. So congratulations, DM Greg. You got 500 bonus XP to use on the Warlord Games XP store coming soon on your wallet. You can also use that on the XP Network store. Don't forget to download Pong of Champions and play Battle Pong with your friends. You'll get bonus XP, 3,000 XP for joining that. That's going to be only on our XP store. Guys, what are your closing words? Any last things you want to say? Any shout outs?
Be watching the XP Warlord site. It's building as we speak. I'm trying to flush that out with everybody at the XP Network. There's going to be more to come, so just stay tuned and get your XP now because it's going to be valuable in the future.
Yeah, I think for me, obviously, just want to shout out everyone that's tuned in. Actually, if you're a Warlord fan, you're a Warlord part of the community already. Hey, great to see you, and I'm sure I'll see you again on another platform, another time, another place, or maybe at an event in person. And if you're new to Warlord and new to wargaming, welcome. We'd love to welcome you in, but thank you so much for tuning in now. And if you've ever got any questions, anything you want to know more about us, Facebook groups are a great place to start. Hit us up on Facebook. Head over to our website and just have a look. Have a look at Cool Toy Soldiers. I promise you can spend hours and hours and hours doing it, because I know I have. And our community site, which you can reach from our web store. And thank you, really, to you guys for having us. It's been an absolute pleasure. 2:00 in the morning in Nottingham on a rainy November night, and I'm sat here talking about toy soldiers. And I've got the best job in the world.
We always love to talk gaming. Hey, thank you all for joining us. Have a great weekend. Bust out your toy soldiers and play this weekend. It'll be a blast. If you haven't done it, set up an event on XP Network and maybe you'll get some XP. You guys have a good one. Thanks again. We'll see you next Spotlight Week on next Friday.